Congratulations, everybody, to the class of 2021.
What an incredible honor it is to be here today to celebrate this remarkable milestone with you and your loved ones. We know that getting to the finish line meant so much more than submitting that final exam. This past year, you faced unimaginable challenges and were put to the test in ways few other graduating classes have. Yet, you persevered, fueled by grit and determination. You not only met this moment, you also went above and beyond what was required for you as a student to make our beautiful state a better, more equitable place. Many of you took care of loved ones. You volunteered at food pantries. You marched for racial justice. And you served on the front lines to get your community vaccinated, all while pursuing your degree. And for our graduates, who are the first in your family to earn a college degree, you have forged an academic path for future generations to come. So as you stand here today, ready to embark on your next adventure, we don't just want to say congratulations. We want to extend a message of deep gratitude to you. We, along with your friends, families, and mentors, are beaming with pride and anticipation to see what tomorrow brings for you.
You know, I'm feeling extremely hopeful that you all will be entering a world with a little less uncertainty and confidence that our next generation of leaders is here to guide us forward. Because if we've learned anything, it's that it isn't good enough to simply talk about going back to normal. You know, as we rebuild, we're looking to set new goals and be a little more audacious about creating a brighter future, one that's guided by not just promise, but by compassion. You know, I'm proud of all of our graduates as you continue to push for the change and the demand that you want to see in the world, and supports Californians from every conceivable walk of life. You know, fighting for progress is a time-honored tradition in California's higher education system, though through many of you, that legacy, I have all the expectation will continue to grow and define the fabric, the best of our state. You know, we've seen the impact that all of you have had. This is the generation that prioritizes addressing things like climate change, a generation that won't tolerate economic or racial injustice. You don't just dream of a brighter future and in a more inclusive world. You're out there actually acting on it and manifesting it. California is better off and will continue to be better off because of each and every one of you. We're so proud of our graduates, and we're incredibly hopeful for our brighter future that all of us have to look forward to.
So congratulations once again, class of 2021. You did it!
Congrats,
Yay.
everybody.
Congratulations, UC class of 2021. You are a truly special group, and I'm so proud of your strength and resilience over the past year. Few classes have faced such an array of unexpected challenges, yet you forged ahead. You changed your plans or made new ones. You navigated virtual classes, you learned the value of the mute button, and through it all, you stayed on track to your degree. You are now part of a network of more than 2 million UC alumni who are using their education and experiences to change the world for the better. I hope that this extraordinary year will hone your resolve to make the future what you want it to be. Never forget that you have that power. It is an honor to share this moment with you, and I can't wait to see what you do next. As Congressman and Civil Rights Leader John Lewis said, "You are the light. Never let anyone, any person or any force, dampen, dim, or diminish your light." Congratulations, UC graduates, and fiat lux.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of UC Davis, I'd like to welcome all of the families and friends, and most importantly, the class of 2021, to this commencement celebration. Graduating from college is an incredible achievement and a milestone in your life. It's something to be proud of during a normal year, but you accomplished this during the most challenging time our country has ever seen. Whether your time at UC Davis was 2 years, 4, or even more, few things feel sweeter than crossing this finish line. And with your degree, you're well equipped for whatever comes next. The class of 2021 persevered during COVID-19 by adapting quickly to new ways of learning. You persevered while practicing social distancing and sheltering in place. Many of you balanced work, family, financial, or personal challenges with the demands of your studies. Throughout, you never gave up. You pressed on, all the way to this day of celebration. Throughout the pandemic, I've seen Aggie heart, spirit, and determination. I've seen students jumping into action to help others by volunteering at local food banks and sewing masks for essential workers. I've seen many of you eager to volunteer at testing sites and become Aggie student health ambassadors to promote safe practices among your peers. You've demonstrated time and again that you're ready for this moment. You're ready to face any challenge, so there's no need to dwell on the past and how much we've missed. This is a moment to embrace the wide world of possibilities that awaits. Let this moment and your graduation be a reminder of what's possible. I hope it inspires you to continue learning, contributing, and pursuing all of your dreams. None of us knows what these next days and weeks might hold, but I'm an optimist. With your degree from UC Davis, you are well equipped to make your mark in this world. You are the future scientists who will help us better understand our world and innovate technologies to shape a better tomorrow. You are the future teachers and educators who will pass along your knowledge and enlightenment to new generations of students. You are the future pediatricians, veterinarians, and agriculturalists who will care for life in its most diverse forms. You are the writers, actors, and dancers who will bring truth and beauty to the world through self-expression. You will be all these things and so much more. You're graduating from a world-class university that embraces intellectual curiosity and versatility. You're being empowered to find success in a global economy that's driven by innovation, flexibility, and diversity. So in this historic moment, move forward with courage and determination. Remember all you accomplished to get here today. Your UC Davis family is rooting for you every step of the way. Congratulations, class of 2021. Go Ags!
Greetings, everyone. I'm delighted to be with you for this wonderful occasion. I want to express a very warm welcome to the members of the 2021 UC Davis graduating class and also to the many families and friends who are with us. This is very much your day too. As UC Davis Provost, I have the opportunity to participate in many special events of many types. But none is more special to me than this one. Commencement allows me to celebrate in a very direct way a pivotal and joyous moment in so many lives. I know that everyone is eager for the awarding of the degrees and the well-deserved celebrations to follow, so I don't want to delay either of those. But there are a few thoughts I want to share with the class of 2021. Even though you've had a long time to get used to the idea of graduating, today is a very big deal. The mere fact that you've earned a degree from a top research university like UC Davis sets you apart in terms of acquired knowledge and skills and also guiding values from most of the people you'll encounter over the course of your life. Not only that, what you've accomplished partly during a very challenging pandemic year, demonstrates truly outstanding aptitude, determination, and fortitude. I hope you see this ceremony as your university's sincere celebration of your exceptional ability and achievement, as well as a demonstration of our great pride in claiming you as members of our Aggie family. Over the course of my career, I've become familiar with many excellent academic institutions. These include Johns Hopkins, where I earned my graduate degree, and UCSF, where I was a professor in the School of Medicine for many years. But today, speaking as both an Aggie alumna and the provost of UC Davis, I can tell you with absolute certainty that our university is a truly extraordinary place. I know that the world-class education you've received here, combined with the university's core commitment to benefiting the world, will be a strong foundation, as they were for me, for a meaningful and rewarding career. Again, my enthusiastic congratulations to the UC Davis class of 2021.
Graduates, friends, and family members, it is such a pleasure to welcome all of you today to celebrate and applaud the achievements of our graduating students. I am profoundly honored to offer my congratulations to our master's and doctoral graduates today. I admire what you have accomplished in earning your graduate degrees. And while I know we all would have preferred to mark your accomplishments with a formal commencement ceremony, I am deeply grateful that we have made this space and time to celebrate with students and their loved ones from around the world. There is a Latin phrase that we use occasionally in graduate studies, in absentia. Our definition refers to a status that allows students to conduct research or study outside the state of California with minimal connection to the university. But in a more basic sense, the phrase refers to the state of not being present. We've all spent the last year and a half without our typical in-person support systems. Each of the graduates here today faced the challenges of teaching, researching, and completing their studies without the enormous benefit of in-person interactions. But that certainly doesn't mean that we were not present. Social interaction is essential to every aspect of our success, not only as students and scholars, but as friends, family members, and human beings. Yet here you are, in the face of one of the most disruptive eras in recent history. You've shown extraordinary resilience. Many of today's graduates have encountered derailed project timelines and personal loss. Others have had to navigate travel and visa uncertainties or have cared for loved ones from thousands of miles away. In spite of numerous interferences, challenges, and heartbreaks, you pursued and remained engaged in advanced scholarship. You found ways to remain connected, not to be in absentia while being away. It was hard, but you did it. You've taken action, provided support, showed up during COVID. Progressively, as we make our way through the summer, we will be getting back to more in-person interactions. In propria persona would be the Latin phrase for that. It is usually interpreted as the opposite of in absentia. But we've learned that in absentia does not necessarily mean disconnected after all. We now know much better how to remain meaningfully connected, to be present in our relationships, even if we are at a distance. I am certain that your graduate experience at UC Davis has prepared you for meaningful action. You're joining a small but powerful community of the most highly educated people. Use this power wisely. Make it a point to show up for yourself, for your friends, for your family, and especially for those without a voice. And make a full-throated commitment to creating more equitable structures in whatever spaces in which you operate. Congratulations and good luck, graduates.
You're so close.
Can you feel it?
Do you believe it? That moment you've been waiting for, working for. Lines scribbled and miles biked.
Equations balanced and essays typed.
Laundry and dishes done. Eventually. You questioned.
You answered.
Traversing an endless sea of coffee cups and Scantron bubbles.
Marking a quantum of study hours that before you thought was purely theoretical.
After all that, now you're about to graduate. Do you remember your first day? What it was like starting out? You did not know what you were getting into. But you said your goodbyes, you came ready for anything, and created a space for yourself. Amid new surroundings, new people,
New ways of thinking.
of seeing,
Of being.
You buckled down. Made friends. Laid in the sun next to oversized eggheads. You circumscribed campus on double-decker buses.
And along the way, found out what personal growth is. At times you had doubts, maybe tempted to quit.
but with each struggle, you grew stronger.
With each setback, you grew more determined.
With each success, you grew confident.
Then came the ultimate test.
The coronavirus turned everything upside down and remote. And yet, Aggies did what Aggies do in tough situations.
We persevere.
We look for solutions.
We take care of one another. This is your world now. It's changed a lot in the time that you've been here. How will you change it? How will you apply what you've learned here, out there?
Congratulations, class of 2021. You have so much ahead of you.
This is just the beginning of your journey.
Go forth,
Grow forth.
wherever life takes you, or wherever you take life.
May you find yourself always outgrowing expectations.
Brianna Tamar Aguilar, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Radhika Barka, Master of Science in Forensic Science. Imbi Abath, Master of Science in Energy Systems. Michael Joseph Acosta Bedoya, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Naomi Madhu Macau Adak, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Esmeralda Aguayo Monroy, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Maria Ahumada, Master of Arts in English. Asma Akhtar, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Alicia Allery, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Saja Eliadi, Master of Science in Computer Science. Elizabeth Alcantara, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Betsy Alford, PhD in Plant Pathology, advised by Professor Doug Cook. Dira Alim Anasiobi, PhD in Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology, advised by Professor Donald Burrs and Professor Julie Bassett. Alejandro Alvarez Bautista, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Peyton Ambrosia, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Elliot Ames, Master of Arts in Education. Damian Arceo, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Julissa Arizaga Ruiz, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jorge Arroyo Esquivel, PhD in Applied Mathematics. Sean Edward Arceo, PhD in Sociology, advised by Professor Jacob Heibel. Ashton Sain, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Karen Atkins, PhD in Hydrologic Sciences, advised by Professor Jeff Schlato. Leonie Avendano, Master of Public Health. Monica Axe, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Jennifer Mataban Yanas Babas, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jackson Robert Badger, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Valentin Taufor. Michelle Boggood, PhD in Immunology, advised by Professor Rivka Isarov. Zalong Bai, PhD in Computer Science, advised by Professor Ian Davidson. Heather Ballinger, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel. DJ Darwin Bandoy, PhD in Integrative Pathology, advised by Professor Michael Wilkes and Professor Bart Weimer. Anusha Bangi, Master of Science in Computer Science. Giuseppe Barbalenardo, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Davide Donadio. James Barnes, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel. Nancy Barrera Cisneros, Master of Arts in Education. Oscar Barriga Cabanillas, PhD in Agricultural and Resource Economics, advised by Professor Travis J. Libert. Mackenzie Batali, PhD in Food Science, advised by Professor William Ristenpart and Professor Jean-Xavier Guinard. Evan Boffman, Master of Arts in Sociology. Leah Byers, Master of Arts in Education. Amy Becker, PhD in Biomedical Engineering, advised by Professor John Boone. Blair Becker, Master of Arts in Education. Rebecca Belisle, Master of Arts in Education. Teresa Benetti, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Shelby Benavides, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Elizabeth Lakey Berg, PhD in Psychology, advised by Professor Jill Silverman. Ali Baruman, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Varadraj Bhatt, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Dhruvatara Bogashetty, Master of Science in Computer Science. Jacob Blasey, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Fernanda Benoni, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Davide Donadio. Morgan Lindsay Bostrom, Master of Public Health. Leah Brinkman, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Dana Brombos, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. James Bruner, Master of Science in Food Science. Zachary Buchanan, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, advised by Professor Kyle Crabtree. Maureen Burdock, PhD in Cultural Studies. Kristen Bush, Master of Science in Energy Systems. Alyssa May Rafanan Ka'alim, Master of Arts in Education. Yimong Kai, PhD in Nutritional Biology, advised by Professor Liping Huang. Jujia Zai, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Ashley Kane, Master of Arts in Education. Haley Callan, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jonas Kalsbach, PhD in Pharmacology and Toxicology, advised by Professor Pamela Leon. Cassandra Campos, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Juan Jose Castillo, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Carlito B. Labria. Wenfeng Chang, Master of Science in Biostatistics. Yuo Hong Chen, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Michelle Chirby, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Tamara Cristiani, Master of Science in Integrative Genetics and Genomics. Trevor Church, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Michelle Clausel, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Ariella Capuro Cohen, Master of Science in Biological Systems Engineering. Andrea Coleman, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, advised by Professors Mary C. Horn and Johannes Hell, and Professor Jim Ames. Michael Commodore, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Eric Contreras, Master of Fine Arts in Design. Jennifer Costa, Master of Arts in Education. Luis Cruz Llamas, Master of Arts in Education. Deanna Leigh Cudia, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor James B. Ames. Nina Cueva, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Gemma Cullen, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Matthew Curtis, PhD in Economics, advised by Professor Gregory Clark. Lindsay Dolan, Master of Science in Horticulture and Agronomy. Kaylee Dante, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Angela De Herrera, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Lily Bell Deer, PhD in Psychology, advised by Professor Camelia Hostenar. Francesca Del Rey, Master of Arts in Education. Marcus Deloney, PhD in Biomedical Engineering, advised by Professor Blaine Christensen and Professor Alyssa Panich. Gulshan Dhaliwal, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Jing Ding, Master of Science in Statistics, advised by Professor Cho Jui Shea and Professor James Sharpnack. Nicole Dodd, Master of Arts in Linguistics. James Donate, Master of Public Health. Rong Duan, Master of Science in Biostatistics. Michaela Elder, Master of Science in Environmental Policy and Management. Emma Elkins, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Rachel Ingelskirger, Master of Arts in Education. Sequoia Erasmus, Master of Science in Transportation Technology and Policy. Sean Ezenwugo, Master of Public Health. Nadine Fabro Brown, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Wenjing Fan, Master of Science in Computer Science. Sungjan Fan, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, advised by Professor Jerry Woodall. Marco Fanucchi, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Matthew Farrer, Master of Science in Computer Science. Jieu Ding Featherstone, PhD in Communication, advised by Professor Jingwen Zhang. Alexandra Fine, PhD in Cultural Studies, advised by Professors Joseph Dumet and Kathleen Fredrickson, and Professor Elizabeth Freeman. Gina Finnicle, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Elizabeth Flores, PhD in Education, advised by Professor Patricia Quijada. Michael Foreman, Master of Arts in Education. Puya Fatuhi, PhD in Electrical and Computer Engineering, advised by Professor Jason Low Power and Professor S.J. Ben Yu. Sophia Fricke, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Matthew Augustine. Ling Ching Fu, Master of Science in Computer Science. Tarani Ganjareddy, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Shan Gao, Master of Science in Statistics. Javier Garcia, PhD in Biochemistry, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, advised by Professor Angie Gelly. Viviana Garcia, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Danielle Gilardi, PhD in Soils and Biogeochemistry, advised by Professor Daniel J. Geiseller and Professor Sanjay J. Parikh. Alex Georgians, Master of Science in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Ariel Alana Gervasi, Master of Science in Hydrologic Sciences. Biana Zhang, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Marissa Jeanette Gonzalez, Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Engineering, advised by Professor Kent Leach. Jessica Gomez, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Erica Gonzalez, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Joseph Gonzalez, Master of Science in Statistics. Eduardo Gonzalez, PhD in Pharmacology and Toxicology, advised by Professor Pamela Leon. Daniel Gruber, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Matthew P. Augustine. Umair Gul, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, advised by Professor Daniel H. Putnam. Sarah Gillette, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jiawei Guo, Master of Science in Educational Leadership, Candel. Gregory Guagas, Master of Engineering in Materials Science and Engineering. Rong Kui Han, Master of Science in Statistics. Ellie Harness, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor James Murray. Beth Ann Hart, PhD in Sociology, advised by Professor Vicki Smith. Brian Harvey, PhD in Mathematics, advised by Professor Adam Jacob. Ellie Hassani, Master of Arts in Education. Jason Headington, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Taylor Heckman, PhD in Microbiology, advised by Professor Esteban Soto. Britta Heiss, PhD in Microbiology, advised by Professor David A. Mills. Rachel Helfrich, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Sadie Hennig, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Allison Van Enenam and Professor James Murray. Jory Ann Herman, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Alicia Herrera, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel, advised by Professor Elizabeth Montano. Priya Holani, Master of Science in Computer Science. Karen Holcomb, PhD in Epidemiology, advised by Professor Christopher Barker. Gia Holliday, Master of Science in Geology. Sydney Jean Holmes, Master of Public Health. Samantha Hom, Master of Arts in Education. Judy Hong, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Frances Hopkins, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Emily Horner, Master of Arts in Education. Yunan Ho, Master of Science in Biostatistics. Yifan Hu, Civil and Environmental Engineering. Sarah Howard, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Jared T. Shaw. Maddie Hughes, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Olivia Marie Hunt, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering, Ryan Hutchings, PhD in Psychology, advised by Professor Jeffrey Sherman. Hector Inda Diaz, PhD in Atmospheric Science, advised by Professor Travis O'Brien. Caitlin Ishak, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jasmina A. Azordia, Master of Arts in Linguistics. Mitchell Iwahiro, Master of Science in Community Development. Taylor J. Bush, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Wendy Jackson, PhD in Epidemiology, advised by Professor Minashi Chiguri and Professor Wutrina Smith. Jake Jagannathan, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Annalise K. Franz. Nicole Janet, Master of Arts in Education. Nisha Jariwala, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Caitlin Jarvis, PhD in Applied Mathematics, advised by Professor Sam Walcott. Mohammed Sada Jawara, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Jared Stevens J., PhD in Physics, advised by Professor Manuel Calderon de la Barca Sanchez. Jelena Jezdemirovich, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Jean Yoon Ying Ji, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Summer Johansson, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, advised by Professor Kyle N. Crabtree. Tegwin John, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Tomar Johnson, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel, advised by Professor Gloria Rodriguez. Cheryl Johnson Fernandez, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Spencer Jones, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Michael Jones, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Tanya Johnblatt, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Heather Kahale Healy, Master of Science in Forensic Science. Fabio Kamler, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Joshua Casper, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Harmanpreet Kaur, PhD in Immunology, advised by Professor Pamela J. Leon. Lakvir Kaur, Master of Science in Computer Science. Anjali Kalasi, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Avas Khan, Master of Public Health. Shannon Rose Kieran, PhD in Integrative Genetics and Genomics, advised by Professor Amanda Finger and Professor Andrea Schreier. Kwang-U Kim, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Yan-Hong Liu. Aaron Anthony King, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Marie-Pierre Kippen, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Patrick Kirk, Master of Engineering in Materials Science and Engineering. Mary Kiria, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Sylvia Claus, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Scott Creasy, Master of Science in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Dhruv Krishnan, Master of Science in Computer Science. Sharmila Kulkarni, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Ezgi Kurt, PhD in Economics, advised by Professor Alan Taylor and Professor James Cloyne. Oh Hyun Kwan, PhD in Computer Science, advised by Professor Kwan Liu Ma. Joseph Langowski, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jules Lark, Ph.D. in Nutritional Biology, advised by Professor Carolyn Slupsky. Patricia Lazicki, Ph.D. in Soils and Biogeochemistry, advised by Professor Daniel Geiseller. Nguyen Le Khoi Nguyen, Ph.D. in Electrical and Computer Engineering, advised by Professor An Vu Pham. Kyu Young Lee, Ph.D. in Epidemiology, advised by Professor Nicola Pusterla and Professor Beatriz Martinez Lopez. Kenneth Lee, Master of Science in Statistics. Rachel Lee, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Fiona Lee, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Boram Lee, Ph.D. in Biomedical Engineering, advised by Professor Johannes W. Hell. Arlie Lemkuhler, Ph.D. in Agricultural and Environmental Chemistry, advised by Professor Allison E. Mitchell. Bryn Bo Levitan, Ph.D. in Ecology. Ebony Lewis, EDD, in Educational Leadership, Candel, advised by Professor Michael Kurlander. Shayla Lewis, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Xingwei Li, Ph.D. in Transportation Technology and Policy, advised by Professor Alan Jen. Angie Lee, Master of Arts in Comparative Literature. Jinyuan Lee, Master of Science in Computer Science. Hao Chen Lee, Ph.D. in Applied Mathematics, advised by Professor Naoki Sato. Ruth Lee, Master of Science in Biostatistics. Lisa Liao, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jiaqin Lin, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Jeremy Lin, Master of Science in Computer Science. Nicole Lira, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Xiuxian Liu, Ph.D. in Nutritional Biology, advised by Professor Patricia Oteza. Anna Lowe, Ph.D. in Chemistry, advised by Professor Jared Shaw. Lila Marie Lockett, Master of Science in Textiles. Julian Lopez, Master of Public Health. Annalicia Lopez, Master of Arts in Education. Alaida Loredo Contreras, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Cynthia Loretto, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Fred Liu, Master of Science in Computer Science. Kelman Lau, Master of Science in Pharmaceutical Chemistry. Angela Liu, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Kelsey Lieberger, Ph.D. in Population Biology, advised by Professor Thomas Schoner and Professor Sebastian Schreiber. Ye Ma, Ph.D. in Biological Systems Engineering, advised by Professor Gang Sun. Kazunori Machida, Master of Science in Biological Systems Engineering. Gina Madalena, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Riza Magat, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Ahmad Mahmood, Ph.D. in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Si-Yen Mai, Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Geeta Malya, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Supreet Man, Master of Science in Child Development. Karina Makbul, Master of Arts in Education. Kimberly Marinelli, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Tagreed Mazi, Ph.D. in Nutritional Biology. advised by Professor Valentina Medici. Karina McLean, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Stephen McGuire, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Naela McQueenie, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Uday Mehta, Master of Engineering in Materials Science and Engineering. Laura Meinzen-Dick, PhD in Agricultural and Resource Economics, advised by Professor Armin Rezai and Professor Michael Carter. Jamile Mena Govella, PhD in Biological Systems Engineering, advised by Professor Gail M. Bornhorst. Amy Teresa Merrill, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Dean Tantillo. Shivan Mian, Master of Science in Computer Science. Alexander Machuda, PhD in Agricultural and Resource Economics, advised by Professor Dahlia Ghanem and Professor Michael R. Carter. Andrew Mim, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Brittany Miller, PhD in Microbiology, advised by Professor Andreas Baumler. Marisol Miranda, Master of Science in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Priyana Mishra, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Emily Moreno, Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Elizabeth Morgan, PhD in Human Development, advised by Professor Aubin Stammer. Nikki Moslehi, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Kaozong Movangsu, PhD in Education, advised by Professor Julia Menard Warwick. Sujita Mukherjee, Master of Science in Computer Science. Amber Muller, PhD in Performance Studies, advised by Professor Laura Grinstaff and Professor Maxine Craig. Tucker Murray, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, advised by Professor Adam Mule. Adam Musser, PhD in Education, advised by Professor Maisha T. Wynn. Sadaf Nag Shabandi, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Matthew Nakaki, Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Lizette Navarrete, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel, advised by Professor Michael Kurlander. Dylan Neal, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Mary Regan Neese, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Andy Viet Nguyen, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, advised by Professor M. Andrew Walker. Ann Nguyen, Master of Arts in Education. Rachel Nickens, PhD in Sociology, advised by Professor Laura Grinstaff. Jade Noguera, Master of Science in Forensic Science. Novendra, PhD in Chemical Engineering, advised by Professor Alexandra Navratsky. Emily O'Brien, Master of Arts in Education. Cynthia Palomares, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Jasmine Gabriel Palustra, Master of Arts in Education. Shubham Pandey, Master of Science in Computer Science. Cynthia Pantoja Calasso, Master of Arts in Education. Krishan Parmar, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, advised by Professor Mark Rashid. Divij Patil, Master of Science in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Pong Chen, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, advised by Professor Stavros G. Vuyukas. Dan Peters, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Jenny Pham, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Lindsay Marielle Phillips, Master of Arts in Education. Christopher Plambeck, PhD in Biochemistry, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, advised by Professor Elva Diaz. Jillian Plushkel, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Ryan Polashak, PhD in Physics, advised by Professor Rajiv Singh and Professor Javier Arzuaga. Reina Portillo, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Monica Reddy Podapati, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Amara Pove, Master of Science in Pharmacology and Toxicology. Sydney Poyd, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Akash Prabhu, Master of Science in Computer Science. Shail Prasad, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Akash Prashar, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Reagan Price, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Patawi Pwangchet, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Christina Puente, Master of Arts in Education. McKenna Ann Pugh, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Sarah Pyle, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Chu Chuyan, Master of Science in Computer Science. Monica Quesada, Master of Science in International Agricultural Development. Fatima Redier, Master of Science in Computer Science. Albina Rafi Sadeh, PhD in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, advised by Professor James Smith and Professor Janice Bell. Maheen Rashid Engstrom, PhD in Computer Science, advised by Professor Yang J. Lee. Solomon Rasuli, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Rachel Reardon, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Greg Stephen Redmond, Master of Arts in German. Heather Reed, Master of Public Health. Telha Raymond, PhD in Horticulture and Agronomy, advised by Professor Bruce Lindquist. Cindy Renteria, Master of Arts in Education. Haley Rentfro, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Jocelyn Reyes Valenzuela, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jinwook Rowe, PhD in Energy Systems, advised by Professor Alyssa Kendall. Victoria Rogers, Master of Arts in Education. Alicia Marie Rodriguez, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Carla Rodriguez Beltran, Master of Arts in Sociology. Larkin Root, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Dietmar Kultz. Lindsay Reese, PhD in Nutritional Biology, advised by Professor Rachel E. Scher. Perla Ruiz Escobedo, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Jean Sabin, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Alexandra Camille San Pablo, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Amrinder Sandhu, Master of Public Health. Colleen Sargent, Master of Arts in Sociology, advised by Professor Laura Grinstaff. James Sarmento, PhD in Native American Studies, advised by Professor Beth Rose Middleton and Professor Justin Spence. Kelsey Savko, Master of Arts in Education. Priyanka Saxena, Master of Public Health. Kaylee Shukai, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Ted Schwabe, PhD in Psychology, advised by Professor Weibke Blydorn. Wendy Akemi Scott, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Dave Scott, Master of Science in Viticulture and Enology. Emily Cyril, Master of Arts in Sociology. Dylan Shattuck, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Ying Sheng, PhD in Biochemistry, Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, advised by Professor Carlito Labria. Xinlin Shuai, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Amanda Jacqueline Grace Sinrod, Master of Science in Food Science. Amy Skull, PhD in Political Science, advised by Professor Jeanette Money and Professor Heather McGibbon. Emma Slack, Master of Arts in Education. Emily Smith, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Sydney Smith, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Rohan Sogani, Master of Science in Computer Science. Lucas Souza, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Jared Shaw. Jaslyn Stafford, Master of Arts in Education. Dane Sturbentz, PhD in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, advised by Professor Jean-Pierre Delplanque. Joshua Sumter, PhD in Mathematics, advised by Professor Alexander Sashnikov. Chelsea Sun, PhD in Communication, advised by Professor Kwiwa Cindy Shen. Amal Sayed, Master of Public Health. Alex Saravoy, Master of Science in Energy Systems. Nopmani Tejangam, PhD in Integrative Pathobiology, advised by Professor Dori Boryson. Melissa Taha, Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering. Yingshin Tan, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Peishing Tong, PhD in Agricultural and Environmental Chemistry, advised by Professor Gong Sun. Minmeng Tong, PhD in Atmospheric Science, advised by Professor Deb Niemeyer. Jeff Tang, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Tangyi Tang, Master of Science in Statistics, advised by Professor Debashi Paul and Professor Thomas Lee. Marissa Victoria Taub, Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Jennifer Tena Mesa, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Carlito B. Labria. Joa Tao, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Christina Marie Thomas, Master of Arts in Native American Studies, advised by Professor Inez Hernandez Avila and Professor Jessica Bissett-Piria. Ashley Thomas, Master of Science in Integrative Genetics and Genomics. Joel D. Thornton, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Sheila May Cabillas Tolentino, Master of Public Health. David Anthony Tomasi, Master of Science in Computer Science. Haruka Tomashima, Master of Science in Food Science. Jor Tong, Master of Science in Computer Science. Miranda Brooke Townsend, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Pedro Alejandro Triana Garcia, PhD in Integrative Pathobiology, advised by Professor Sui J. Ta. Evelyn Trin, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Yihua Tsai, PhD in Molecular, Cellular, and Integrative Physiology, advised by Professor Pamela Leon. Andrew Tu, Master of Public Health. Matt Turkey, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel. Davis Unruh, PhD in Physics, advised by Professor Gergely T. Zamanye. Shambhavi Upadhyay, Master of Science in Computer Science. T.J. Ashing, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Carmen Valdivia Ponce, PhD in Spanish, advised by Professors Zoila Mendoza and Michael Izara, and Professor Robert Irwin. Ainoa Vai de Cabres Inchaustegui, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Noelia Silva del Rio. Javier Ivan Vasquez Morales, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Trish Berger. Heather Weiss, Master of Science in Horticulture and Agronomy. Brandon Vu, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Derek Wadsworth, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Tricia Wagner, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Gwyn Ho Jackie Y, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Gregory Walker, PhD in Microbiology, advised by Professor Renee Solis. Karen Walker, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Tao Wang, Master of Science in Computer Science. Shuotong Wang, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Xiaori Wang, Master of Science in Computer Science. Bailey Wasley, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Lauren Watanabe, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Isabel Watson, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Li-Feng Wei, Master of Science in Statistics, advised by Professor Cho Jui Shea and Professor James Sharpnack. Shutong Hui, Doctor of Philosophy in Statistics, advised by Professor James Sharpnack. Shenyu Wei, PhD in Statistics, advised by Professor Thomas C. M. Lee. Yongming Wen, Master of Science in Computer Science. Maria Wheeler, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership. Chantel Williams, Master of Public Health. Ashley Williams, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Kayla Williams, Master of Arts in Education. Michelle Williams George, EDD in Educational Leadership, Candel. Andrew Wilson, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Ivan Wangso, Master of Science in Biological Systems Engineering. Robert Woodkey, Master of Science in Community Development. Katie Wright, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Selena Wrightson, Master of Arts in Art History. Xingzhu Wu, PhD in Biological Systems Engineering, advised by Professor Zhang Li Pan. Shifu Wu, Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, advised by Professor Bevan M. Bass. Zhongxing Xu, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, advised by Professor Kyle N. Crabtree. Bianca Yahubi, PhD in Pharmacology and Toxicology, advised by Professor Pamela J. Leon. Valerie Yanez, Master of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Hao Kun Yang, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Yaoqi Yang, Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Su Yun Yao, Master of Science in Computer Science. Shauna Ray Yazzie, Master of Arts in Native American Studies, advised by Professor Inez Hernandez Avila and Professor Jessica Bissett-Piria. Sarah Elizabeth Yeager, Master of Science in Food Science. Ji-yoon Lee, Doctor of Philosophy in Food Science, advised by Professor Nitin Nitin. Christian Yang, Master of Science in Nursing Science and Healthcare Leadership, Family Nurse Practitioner. Kelly Zacanti, PhD in Animal Biology, advised by Professor Trish Berger. Marwa Zafarullah, PhD in Integrative Genetics and Genomics, advised by Professor Flora Tassone. Hannah Zaria, California Teaching Credential Candidate. Madeline Zay, Master of Health Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Tingwei Zhang, PhD in Biomedical Engineering. Angela Zhang, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, advised by Professor Shota Atsumi. Yingqing Zhang, Master of Science in Transportation Technology and Policy. Zheyu Zhou, PhD in Nutritional Biology. Qingwen Zhou, PhD in Chemistry, advised by Professor Carlito B. Labria. Jin Zhou, PhD in Civil and Environmental Engineering, advised by Professor Sashi K. Kunath. Sidian Zhou, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Yiwei Zhu, PhD in Integrative Genetics and Genomics, advised by Professor Janine Lassell. Holly Zhu, Master of Advanced Study in Maternal and Child Nutrition. Jason Zhu, Master of Science in Agricultural and Resource Economics. Xiao Tian Zhou, Master of Science in Computer Science.